Hey there and welcome to day 29. Now, as you can see here with these last few days of the challenge, we're starting to switch gears a little bit into the business side of blogging. And one of the real fundamental cores of any type of online marketing, well, any marketing really, that you do is truly understanding your prospect or your customer, understanding what makes them tick, what kind of thoughts are going on inside their head, and really the power of the way that you can really make marketing work for you, and blogging being a fundamental extension of that is understanding the psychology of what makes people tick, and especially your market. When you understand that, when you put yourself into their shoes and understand that very strongly, then the things that you do are going to resonate. You're going to make things that actually click with people, and they're going to respond to what you do on the internet. So the fundamental part of doing this is doing what's called a customer avatar or a reader avatar. And I want to go over to my screen here and I want to tell you a little bit about this. Okay, let's talk about that reader avatar. So if you look at the word avatar, you might be thinking about the movie or something like that. Basically, what we're talking about here is creating a profile, this person there that represents your market. Just like in the movie Avatar, how they had this body that was in this world that was being controlled by somebody that was in the real world, so to speak. So we're looking at the same type of a setup here. So what are we trying to learn about our audience here? Well, we want to learn about their thoughts, their opinions, and the things that keep them up at night. That's very, very important about the things that keep them up at night, because you really want to know what's bothering them underneath the surface, the things that actually are causing them stress, because people are trying to move away from pain and toward pleasure. When you know what is causing them pain, you are much better able to motivate them to take action, to get away from those pains and into the pleasures. Hopefully that makes sense from a marketing standpoint. We're also talking about learning what your audience really wants to achieve here. And I mean the word really there, because it's not just the surface level things here of, oh, I want to make money with a blog or something to that effect. It's what does that really mean in their lives? What are they really going for? Are they looking for meaning in their lives? Are they looking to be able to brag to the people around them what they've just accomplished? What are they really looking to get out of that? We also want to learn what motivates them, and we also want to learn what their buttons are. Now, the buttons there is basically a term which means that gets a reaction out of people. Just like in regular world, you press a button and something happens. Well, we as people also have buttons that when they're all, and the buttons are different for every single person. But when somebody does or says a certain thing, it motivates us to do something. Maybe it pisses us off. Maybe it makes us laugh every time we hear it. Those are the buttons, and we want to know what those are with our audience. What gets them up? What gets the rise out of them? So how do we learn this type of thing? Well, the couple of ways. One is to be a fly on the wall and basically watch. And you can do this via forums, Q&A sites like Quora or Yahoo Answers, something like that, blogs, and comments. So basically what you're doing is you're just being a member of your own market and being on the internet and watching people talk to each other, ask questions, seek help, and you can learn a lot about what makes people in your market tick and what they're interested in by simply watching. Now, the second way, and which is a lot more thorough because you can custom tailor the questions, and that is surveying them, or even better yet, interviewing them. So the interview process is one that is a lot more involved, but it would be a matter of finding somebody who is your ideal audience member and actually sitting down and having a conversation with them and really asking them some fairly deep questions. But you can also do this via survey over the internet. It's just not quite as personal. So some sample survey questions here are the kinds of things you might see here. You would ask about age and their gender, their income range, their employment status, relationship status, and then here's a couple that you might not think of, but political leanings and their religion. So yes, we are getting personal there. You obviously want to make sure that when you ask things like that you're totally upfront with why you're asking, that you really don't care what their answer is. I've asked this before, and I basically told them, listen, I don't care what your political leanings are. I'm only asking so that I can learn the types of people in my audience. That's pretty much what I told them. And same with religion. I don't care what anybody's religion is. That's a personal decision. I'm only trying to just kind of get this overall profile of the kinds of people in my audience. That's why I asked those questions. Now, the next one is the 3 favorite movies and books. Well, why do I ask that? I ask that because the types of movies that resonate with them that they really like tells me a lot about the person. For example, if their 3 favorite movies happen to be comedies, it tells me that this person's got a good sense of humor. If they are dramas, then it tells me a different thing about them. Same with the books. If they're reading business books, then that tells me what motivates them. So I ask those types of things to find out a little bit more about the person. I can ask about daily struggles, biggest fears and frustrations, and also their ideal outcome. And also getting a little deeper into that ideal outcome is asking what would they want to brag about. So actually get them to put themselves in the shoes of having accomplished what they want, and get them to like, okay, who are they going to want to brag about this to, and what specific components would they want to brag about? Now, think about that from a marketing standpoint, because those are the things that you are now going to work into your copy or work in and as examples, because those are going to resonate. Those are buttons. So what are you going to be doing with this information? You're going to be creating a profile of a person, a real human being who is your prospect, who is your reader. Now, you want to be as detailed as you can possibly be about this, and you want to be very specific about it. This is not a vague profile. This is, like a running average of what everybody's saying. You want to get very detailed about this and really have it such that you could read this description of this person and it would be an actual person, complete with personality quirks, things that get a rise out of them, the things they do during the day, what really motivates them, where do they want to be before they die, what's on their bucket list. You really want to get as specific as you can possibly get here. And then you want to assign a name to them and a photo. And now if you can somehow get photos of a real audience member, that's even better. But if not, you can go ahead and just find one, somebody you don't know preferably. That way you're not assigning some other things you already know about them, just some random person, because this is not going to be in public view anyway. It's just for you. So what you're doing with this profile is that this is who you're now talking to when you write your blog posts and when you write your emails. And this is also going to steer the kinds of things that you actually produce, because now that you know what kind of person you're talking to, what their goals are, what gets a rise out of them, you now can create products specifically tailored to that avatar, because you know that that represents your market and that is who your ideal target audience member is. So hopefully you see how this works. It's a fairly involved process. I will also say that if you go and start making this avatar, it can and probably will evolve over time. So it's not like you've got to be, get it right, so to speak. Some of it you may have to make some assumptions on. But in order to get really, really specific, you would probably have to sit down and actually do an interview with somebody. But I hope you see the power of this, and I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll wrap this challenge up.